Hey YouTube, this is React City and we are doing a React review.
To a movie.
So, we just saw Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, and so if you have never seen one of our kind of discussions before, this is not going to be a regular structured review, though we will give you our overall thoughts and we'll give you a grading, and then we're going to tell you blatantly there's going to be a spoiler section, and you need to get out of here if you don't want the spoilers, and then past that point we'll go into depth about what the show is. So right now we're going to give our overall thoughts. So, overall thoughts. Can you take us away?
So first of all, it was a really fun show. It's like Marvel doing the Marvel thing of having a really fun superhero show. But it still felt different from a regular superhero show because it's strange. It's not strange. It's Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Because,
agreed.
Yeah, even though he is saving someone, he's not like saving the whole planet, which I feel like we're back to, I guess, where we were before Phase 4, where we're saving people in like small buildings rather than, you know, continents falling from the sky. So I'm glad we're back here. It's nice to be back.
Yeah. I know some people are probably not very happy about that, like starting over. They wanted it to end, but no, I'm happy with their transition. It was a good transition.
I'm of two minds on that, because on one hand, it isn't like an overarching massive like this movie sets up this villain who's now in this movie, he does this, and this movie does this. But Wanda was kind of like a multiversal thread, but at the same time, you do get like it doesn't feel like a movie that extends its tentacles into other movie genres. Not genres, sorry. Other franchises within the Marvel Universe. So I can agree to that extent.
It's ironic, but yes.
Yeah, you're going to say it? I'm done.
Oh, well, it's ironic that you said not branching into other movie universes, because we did get a bunch of crossover during the movie, but like of different non-movie universes that haven't connected yet. So that was funny. But yeah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it was a really great Marvel movie. I loved it. A lot of aspects of it that I thought would be a little uncomfortable weren't as bad as I thought would be. Like when I got into it, I was like, oh my gosh. They really, like, some parts of it were pretty, I want to say dark, creepy and dark. Yeah, I mean, I guess it should have been expected because it's Doctor Strange, he's the magic guy, you know, but it wasn't, as it got to the dark places, it felt called for. It wasn't like it was just put in there just to, you know, freak people out, you know, just to grab you and hold you. It made sense. And it went places I didn't think it would go, and I was like, oh, hey, we're here. And it really worked. It made it a very enjoyable movie. I would recommend it.
It's like a superhero meets horror.
Yeah,
it's like comic book action meets horror. It's weird, but it worked somehow.
You know, it makes me wonder about like the phase that comic books were going through at this time. Like, because you talk about sometimes they go through these phases where things just go into roller coasters of like emotions, and it just made me think of like, if you're someone who was enjoying the traditional classic, you know, Batman, Superman, Iron Man, whatever characters, and then you get it's like the years pass and they're like, we gotta do something to keep the readers. They throw something like this at you. That's how it feels. Like that's how this was born. And like, I wonder, was it exactly like this in the comics? Like, did you ever read the comic?
I don't know anything about this in the comics.
Oh, okay, because they said it was I think it was at the end. They were like, or is it the beginning? Something like as seen in comics or something like that.
Oh, I didn't see that.
You didn't see that? It was during when they were saying this person and that person that was in the movie.
Yeah, my comic book knowledge can be very wanting in some areas. Like, I'll know a lot about this one character or a lot about this one thing that this one character did, but not know anything else about the character. So if it happened, I don't know. There is something about the comics in this movie that I will get into. But yeah, I agree wholeheartedly. This movie, when you say dark, it made choices that I never thought a Marvel show could make anymore. And I kind of want to say I'm proud of the franchise.
That they did it.
I'm very impressed. Yeah. Because this show showed that the directors can still make tough decisions that will follow logically. You know, it made sense that the movie went the places it did, and I'm really trying to step around it. But to the ends that they went, I'm very happy that they did, and they did it perfectly. I really enjoyed it.
I think the last thing I want to say about generally is there were 2 fourth wall breakages.
Yeah?
At least. I don't know if there were any more. We can talk about them
remember
specifically.
the first one.
I remember both of them.
Okay, we'll jot those down. We gotta get to that in the spoiler review.
Yeah, I won't say anything more about it, but it was just very funny because it was a little bit like, what's the word? Jaunting, like jarring. That word.
Jaunting.
It's
jarring and daunting at the same time.
Yes, it was jarring a little bit because I was like, are they trying to be funny? Because that's what fourth wall breaks are usually, trying to be funny. It was not a moment to try and be funny, so I was like, huh? I was a little lost a little bit, but I was like, okay, at the end of it.
It took you out of it a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
There's only one that I noticed, and I think it's the very obvious one. I was like, okay, but really for this, so we could get into that.
Okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I guess we all pretty much said pretty good things about this. Is there anything or any tones you didn't like about the movie before we give our final grades?
I would say that when it kind of shifted from the comic book action movie to the more horror aspect of the movie, I noticed that suddenly, like, oh, we're using these camera angles now. This is whoa. But I still felt like, okay, it still makes sense because of what's happening. It's horrifying.
Yeah.
So on one hand, I'm like, I noticed it, and I noticed it as a movie aspect rather than a thing happening in the movie.
So you kind of maybe took you out a little bit.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? Oh, sorry.
Well, I'm just saying, other than that, I can't really think of anything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I can't think of anything actually. I didn't notice the switch at all, but that is not saying anything. Honestly, I really enjoyed the movie, like pretty much entirely. Any little thing that was in there that was annoying is not really. It didn't stand out enough for me to call it out. So yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's something I disliked. It's just one of those goofy little... I guess it's a Sam Raimi thing. The guy who did the original, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movies. He has those screen wipes that they're noticeable.
Oh, yeah.
Once you see them.
Yeah,
I didn't
remember.
notice
The screen transitions.
You didn't notice what... this is not a spoiler, but it's like what Wong walks up. It like this. The scene is just a regular scene. We're just looking at... I don't remember what we were looking at. I think it was like Wanda or
it's
something.
like a burning background or something.
Like a burning background, and then Wong walks up, and then suddenly in his face, he comes into focus, and we're in a different scene. I'm like, what happened?
Oh yeah, that scene transition was weird.
That was weird.
Yeah.
Or
that's a typical...
I'm thinking, because it's a very stylized director.
Okay.
But there's also stuff like, you know how the screen can zoom into like a circle and then zoom out? It did that, I think, once or twice.
I didn't notice that at all.
I just thought it was interesting. It wasn't like the worst thing in the world or upset me or anything. I just thought, all right.
You noticed it.
He's an old school, it's his style. It's what he does.
Yeah.
There it is. I can tell you're here.
Hi.
But yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, so I guess overall grades now.
I would give this movie an A.
That sounds like a weak A.
It is a weak A.
So it's like going down?
Yeah, it's like it just
barely broke through A.
Through A, yeah, from B. But yeah, I did enjoy this movie. I could recommend this movie. I wouldn't say it wasn't as spectacular as the Spider-Man one.
Wow.
Oh, I agree. Actually, yeah. I enjoyed the Spider-Man one more.
Yeah, that's why I'm not giving it a strong A, but it's an A, I think.
I think I know my reason for it not being a strong A. No, actually, no. I think it's a solid A. I wouldn't say it's a weak A. Spider-Man is a strong A, almost S to me. In comparison to this movie. Like at the time, maybe I would say it was just an average A. But I think this was a solid A. The reason it's not is because of the peril, like you said, was not of his universe. It was of the character, right? So it was, the stakes weren't as heavy, even though at the time in the movie it does feel like everyone's in trouble. But when it comes down to it and you get to the end, not really. You know.
I mean, we can talk about the stakes later.
Okay.
I think I can change your mind on that.
All right. Well, I still, in any case, my grade is still an A. It's a
Would it be fair to say that your A is like an A minus?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure in the Spider-Man review you actually said A plus, but I didn't put the A plus above your heads. I gave us all A's, even though I'm pretty sure we all said A pluses. So I'm sorry about that. But Yeah, I'm surprised because I have actually, I guess, a controversial opinion here. I found myself enjoying this more than the Spider-Man movie.
Really?
Yeah.
You did come out of it very, like, hyped.
Mm-hmm.
You were like, I love this movie. Like, it was one of your
Yeah.
favorites so far.
Yeah, and I think it has to do with the dark tone. Yeah, and I want to get more into that later, but I feel like this movie showed that you can take heroes to bad places, but you can also show that heroes aren't always perfect. And I appreciate when that's done well, I think, more than when a hero is just, you expect him to act this way.
Mm-hmm.
And it ends that way. Sure,
Yeah.
the Spider-Man movie took bold steps as well, which is why I rated it highly as well.
Mm-hmm.
But I felt like this movie took a lot more risks, and I appreciate that.
So what's your grade?
I was considering giving it an S, but
Really?
No,
I
don't
feel
let
like-
us wait.
no. I was thinking my heart was saying S, but my mind is saying A plus. I don't think it deserves an S,
Yeah.
so I'm giving it A plus.
Okay. And maybe with time and with this discussion, you'll solidify that answer.
Maybe,
Yeah.
or even go down.
Yeah.
S tier is like a movie that I'm gonna look back on 10 years and be like, that's still an awesome. I'm just thinking about that movie, just washing the dishes here. That was a good movie.
What the hell?
You know? That's
don't know.
what an S tier is to me. Cause like whenever I think of anime, whenever I think of ReZero, it's just like that was good anime.
I agree.
That was awesome anime.
Back it up.
Back in yes, that's a good anime.
That's an S plus.
That's an S plus anime. SS.
Yeah. But so now that we got that, we're gonna head on into the spoiler part of this, so we can basically justify why we believe these things. So if you want to stay around and have that discussion, I don't know why I phrased it like that. You know what? Just get into discussion.
Just do it.
Spoiler discussion.
Spoilers.
Yeah. So take us away from the very beginning, because I was writing in the dark and the pen wasn't working, so I have no idea what I wrote for 3 lines.
Oh.
So I wrote right into it because we
Yep.
jumped right into
yeah.
it, and alternate
Yeah.
Strange is with America, the character named America, not
Chavez.
the country. Chavez was her last name. So he's running with her away from
A
terrifying
giant thing.
creature.
Yes, that we find out later is a demon.
Eee.
Yeah. Controlled by Wanda eventually.
And
I forgot, but yeah.
I immediately noticed the ponytail, and I was like, "Why does he have a ponytail?" And I immediately noticed the blue magic. I was like, "Why is it blue magic?" But I didn't like register it was an alternate universe one until like, oh, duh.
Yeah. I saw the ponytail. I was like, "This isn't our Strange. That's not him."
I like how even he pointed out the fact that
Yeah.
another universe
This
would
is like-
wear a ponytail.
Ponytail. Alternate Strange being like, "Sorry, kid." For the greater good.
Yeah.
And it's like it's sucking out her life force.
Yeah.
I didn't know how to feel about. On one hand, I'm like, I mean, Strange doesn't really hyperbolize, so I was like, okay, maybe it is for the greater of the universe. I don't know how to take this, but you're that's a death flag for you, buddy. The movie's just starting, and
Yeah.
I saw her in the trailer.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, and I think he mentioned at that moment we can't allow this thing to get your power.
Yeah.
So it made sense that he was making that decision. I was still kind of like, oh no, don't do that, you know? But obviously things turn out the way they turn out, and she goes somewhere else, and we see her powers.
She's a star power. She's a star.
Yeah. I guess that's why she's called America. But yeah.
Yeah, I was like trying not to look at her red white striped denim shirt with stars on
Didn't
it
even notice
and
that.
think about her name. I'm just like I, don't know how
I
to
knew
think
they
about this.
must have named
It's
her.
so branded. She runs into the star, and we find what happened. The next time we see her. Go ahead.
Before that, what's his name? R. Strange wakes up from a dream.
Yes.
And he
Yeah.
saw all that in his dream.
And he just wakes up like, oh.
Okay.
Oh well.
Weird.
Yeah.
I mean, you'd think the sorcerer would, you know, be like, I see a girl I've never met before in my dream, and they're fighting a giant monster out in space with magic. I wonder if this means something.
Not my problem.
Not my problem, I guess.
I guess he may have just been preoccupied with what he was about to do.
Yeah.
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 Stressed out.
Stressed.
Which is going to Christine's wedding.
Like, why though?
Not friend's wedding. Ex-girlfriend's wedding.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
I mean, on one hand, it depends on how important you were in each other's lives, I guess. Because she and Strange, apparently, I think they grew up together. Was that
I
it?
have no idea.
They were dating.
Yeah, they were dating for a long time.
I know they were at least like maybe went through medical school together or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So they were very close ties
Mm-hmm.
and very complicated relationship that she was like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, well, she made that decision while he was gone for 5 years.
Yeah.
By the way, it extended to 5 years. They kept saying 4 years before in other movies.
Did they? I thought they were saying 5.
Yeah,
they
it was
say-
always 5.
I think it
thought
was.
4.
I know at one point I thought it was 3, and then it was 5.
Tres.
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay.
No bueno. But it was really interesting to see that, you know, it's weird. You can't expect, like, Steven and Christine, they're soulmates, you know, but it just didn't work out because of what happened.
Yeah.
But it's really strange to see Strange having going through the results of the blip, because kind of before we just saw everyone else seeing the results of, it was kind of his choice to go down this path, but it was the only choice he said he had.
Mm-hmm.
And the consequences are just very interesting to see it even relapse on him.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's even more interesting that he like you see him feeling the consequences like they're his consequences more than any of the other
People.
heroes that are in the movies, because it was him that said we have to do it this way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he more than anyone, he has to accept it, which
Mhm.
may be why he puts on the brave face.
It says he's happy.
Yeah.
Mm.
Which, you know what? In retrospect, it makes why he was so annoyed with Peter at first make more sense. But he's like, oh, everyone knows who you are, and you're upset. That's your problem. I lost Christine. It's in the back of his head.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, I had to just knock that over. But
Mm.
yeah. Oh, speaking of which, they kind of mentioned him in passing.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
they were
in
like,
the
have you ever-
conversation with America.
Yeah, she was like, have you ever dealt with anything in the multiverse? And he was like, well, there was this situation with Spider-Man.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, who's that? Oh no,
Yeah.
nobody knows. But the thing is, I thought nobody knew. Well, this is maybe. Should we say anything more about Spider-Man? Because
Spoilers for Spider-Man No Way Home.
I don't. No, I'll just won't say it. It's fine. It's not that important. But yeah, we do bring up Spider-Man and some interesting points I'd like to talk about at another time. But yeah, this conversation happened after the big street fight.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a big street fight. Well, what's his name? He was at Christine's wedding. Strange was at Christine's wedding, and he was like, well, back to work.
Right before that.
Hmm.
So, do you remember who Dr. West is?
No.
He's the guy who sat down next to him in the pews.
I knew it had to be important,
Yeah,
but I don't know him.
Yeah. He was the guy who was kind of friends / it seemed like colleague, rival,
Kind of
sorry.
rivals.
Yeah, in the very first Doctor Strange movie, and he's
Mhm.
also the doctor who worked on Doctor Strange's hands when he
Mhm.
came in from a crash. And I always suspected that he didn't do as good as a job as he could have, just because they set that weird like frenemy kind of vibe between the two.
Yeah.
And they brought him up again. Like,
Mhm.
why is he back? He didn't matter that much.
Yeah.
You know, so I think there's something going on.
Maybe
there.
they're seeding a new villain because he was upset about losing his cats and
And
brother.
then his brother.
And then his brother. He's like,
yeah.
not my cats. My brother, too.
yeah.
Yeah.
So he looked very devious to me, like he's setting up to be a villain.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He looks like one of those, he looks like he's becoming the quiet guy in the office.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's that issue because Strange has the ability to warp time, and it seems like some people have an inkling that they know he had to do with the choice that resulted in the blip.
Mm-hmm.
So people will always be asking him if they can change their fate in particular.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a burden that he now carries
Yeah.
for being the savior of the world.
Yeah.
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 But that's all I said. You were saying about Street Fight?
All right. Then we go to Street Fight, and we're fighting the Terraria boss.
Yes.
It's true.
What was it? Izor. We're fighting Izor, and that's where we meet America.
Yes.
Yeah.
So apparently the beast was invisible for a while.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Strange made him visible.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's very crazy. So
Interesting.
she appears in this world, and I'm guessing this demon we find out later is sent by Wanda.
Wanda.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so that I did watch around some reviews, and some people feel that this is like perhaps they weren't planning on Wanda being the villain or something like that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, did you guys get that feeling? I didn't really get that
No.
feeling.
No. I think it was just hidden well. I think that's what happened. I think people felt like that maybe they needed to seed it more, but because that's what they normally do, they
Yeah.
seed the villain a lot more clearly.
Mhm.
And it was so hidden, like the trailer, you would never know that we were gonna end up fighting her. Like I knew there was something. I knew that she might have turned on him, but I didn't think she was the originator of the problem.
Yeah. I thought she was gonna turn anti-hero. That's what I thought was going to be the thing.
Yeah, that's what was seeded. I was like, they're going to turn to her. She's going to kind of try to help, and then she's going to turn on them. But no, it went immediately.
Yeah, it was just like, oh, I'm just in an apple orchard, just doing apple orchard things.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's fine, I promise. And then she... are we there yet, by the way? What, did we miss anything?
So the Wanda thing, I just wanted to say the eyes didn't remind me of Terraria thing, reminded me of Beholder a little bit, but it doesn't have that many tentacles. Usually, I don't think, but yeah. Beholder's a D&D monster. It's got a big eye, floats in the air.
Oh.
But that thing wasn't floating, it was crawling.
It was
it was
octopus.
Octopus eye.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, they had to kill it in the eye.
Pull out the eye.
Pull out the eye.
Gross.
Disgusting. All right, and then we're talking to America.
Yes.
And they're like, prove multiverse. And then they're like, well, here's a dead body.
Yeah, it's a dead you.
It's your dead body. So strange.
Trauma.
Yay!
You're going to have nightmares about this. And then he just buries it on the roof.
He's like, I've done it before. It's fine.
It's like, I have buried worse. It's like, really? Where, Strange? In a playground? I hope not.
Yeah, and they also, when talking to that girl, they mentioned how they want the Vishanti book that can solve all the issues.
Yeah, that's what the first Strange was going after.
Mm-hmm.
And they almost reached.
And Vishanti was something that was name dropped in the What If series.
Yeah.
Vishanti, I don't remember it.
Ashanti or Vishanti?
Vishanti.
Vishanti.
Yeah.
That was the book that the What If Strange wanted to find in order to bring Christine back.
Oh, that was his first goal.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh,
that's why
Is that not it?
No. I remember Wong putting Vishanti spells on the good Strange to fight the bad Strange.
Oh.
Yeah. Because they will only hold over so long. So in my mind, I connected Vishanti with protective spells.
Oh.
Between our talk with Wanda and the talk with America, Wanda has a dream.
Mm.
Yes.
And we see her with her boys.
Her boys.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we find out later that dreams are windows into another world.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the thought that people in our, reality have that thought as well. That dreams are showing you somewhere that happened.
Like another universe, another dimension. And America, I think, tells Strange that first, and then we see Wanda's dream.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then we're like, seeding a problem here.
Mm-hmm.
She's just dreaming about her boys. It's so sad.
Yeah. And she wakes up to a
Nightmare.
nightmare, she calls it.
Yeah.
Wonderful dream, wake up to a nightmare.
Mm-hmm.
I really enjoy how they did this slow, she slowly fell apart, and a big reason why that happened is she had nobody with her that entire time.
Yeah.
And it's, of course, most of it's on her because she went, started killing people, but she had friends who never checked in on her.
Yeah.
Strange knew about her.
Mm-hmm.
He knew about Westwood. And he came over, didn't want to talk about Westwood.
Yeah.
Westwood View.
Westview.
Westview.
Yeah.
Oh, Westview. Wow. But yeah, Westview. So, and I think that speaks to Strange's character as well. Strange is not a traditional hero. He's like, if Peter was in Strange's position, he would have rushed over and been trying to figure out what happened, try to stop the whole thing in Westview and hunt her down to just talk to her. Yeah. That's how Peter is. He's a hero. But Strange is just neutral. He deals with stuff that threaten everybody. But if you're just off doing something, okay, he doesn't really care that much.
Yeah. And also, if you bring the problem to him, as we see in Spider-Man, he's like, okay, I guess I'll deal with this. Yeah. He deals with immediate problems that are in his view.
Yeah.
In his West view.
Which now, in hindsight, I wonder if... Wanda was kind of saying I knew it would come about Westview eventually, as if you're here to arrest me kind of talk. Mm-hmm. But I wonder if that was also a chance for him to reach out to her about it. But he's like, I'm not here to talk about Westview. And she looked almost disappointed. But maybe.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of who is still here to talk to Wanda.
Hulk?
Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, he was a part of the group that kind of looked at her as a protege. I think. Wasn't he?
No, that was Black Widow and Steve.
Oh, Hawkeye.
Hawkeye's still here too.
Hawkeye, yeah.
He was very close with her.
Was he?
Yeah, he was the guy who came to the apartment after she buried Vision. Right?
Oh.
Remember Vision? She pushed him into the ground and then she ran away with Hawkeye in the Civil War.
I don't remember that, but I remember him going to her during the whole chaos of the floating island and being like, we're fighting robots and I have a bow and arrow, none of this makes sense.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he did kind of father her a little bit.
And I remember the relationship too was her brother protected him from dying, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the brother, so that could have been like the
Hawkeye
relationship.
really dropped the ball.
Yeah.
He's being Ronin right now.
He's being Ronin. Yeah, so her brother died, and then her husband, fiance, was it a husband? Thing? her husband, fiance thing died, and then her boys disappear, and then she's alone with no one to talk to but the darkness in her mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And her only hope to get them back or get to have a life with them again.
Yeah.
I felt very sorry for her in this movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And this brings us to a point where it's something that she said, but I actually wrote it down. So witchcraft is different from sorcery. And we were talking a little bit about it before the episode started. This started. So my understanding of it, and I'm inviting you to critique this, the way train of thought. My understanding of it is witchcraft deals with chaos magic, and it changes reality the way it works to fit what the user wants. And as such, that's why it's like ugly and perturbing and destructive. And sorcery works with the known rules of magic, like with the way reality is supposed to work. I guess it's kind of like we're working with 2, and 2 is right there, and the magician can multiply them and make it 4, where she can like take 2 and 2, multiply them and make 5, you know, because she wants a 5.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
That
like
makes
going
sense.
against nature versus sorcery working with nature.
I think. Again, someone might have the correct answer there.
That would make sense, because that's kind of what Doctor Strange did in the first movie when he was like reading all of the books. He was like, oh, so it's just and he mentioned some like physics thing when he was reading the books. And then we see that I've noticed immediately that she name dropped America when he never said her name.
I picked it up immediately too. I was like,
I was like, how do you know Wanda? I was being like, in my head I was kind of hoping that she was just like watching her, because she was like, and this person could bring me to my ultimate goal. That's all I was hoping for. And then she would be anti-hero like and be like, I'm gonna use your powers for my own sake. But then she's the whole problem.
Yeah, honestly, even when I realized immediately that she was lying a little bit, I did not suspect, still did not suspect that she was behind everything. I was still hoping, like you. I didn't want it.
She's been through so much.
You know, it took me till she changed the view of everything before I admitted to myself, okay, fine. When she was, everything she was like, the hex was easy, the lying part was hard. And she changed everything. I love that part of it, by the way. She changed everything, and it's all evil and cryptic, not cryptic, decrepit and terrible.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh no, Wanda, why?
I was just like, why would you choose to live here?
Yeah.
No, seriously.
Yeah.
Oh, it's
terrible.
because of the Darkhold.
It's the Darkhold that's twisted her. She's twisted now.
Well, you're saying like the use of it will corrupt the person, but also the area is being used.
Well, yeah. I know that too. I'm just saying she's also corrupted to the point where she's not feeling perturbed by anything that is happening. It's just this is her life now.
Yeah, I mean the Darkhold wasn't lying. It will give her what she wants.
Yeah.
It's just it takes something in return.
Yep.
And I like you guys didn't want it. I wanted it, and I didn't believe it.
Really?
Yeah, because it's Marvel, it's Wanda,
It's
and
Wanda.
even though Wanda, is isn't a good person for a big portion of the comic books, I still thought that on the big screen, the way the MCU works, they wouldn't do that to one of their stars, especially one that's so powerful and went through all these issues. I was like, they wouldn't do that to Wanda.
Yeah.
She's never gonna be evil, even if she should be evil, and they did it. And I was like, oh my gosh, they actually did it.
Yeah.
This movie has, pardon my French, cojones.
Oh my god.
But yeah.
And then we have the big attack on Carbage. What's the place called that we never wrote down? The place that Wong had America kept.
Tamara?
No, it had a J in there, and it started with a K.
No, it started with an
Aubergine? a Carbage.
aubergine. I don't know.
Well, anyways, it's the fortress place that they
Yes.
train all the people.
Mhm.
They had it fortressized
Yes.
and ready for Wanda.
Mm-hmm. And we see a lot of, I don't think they were newbies, but we see a lot of people are there, which we never really saw in Doctor Strange. We kind of saw some people in Doctor Strange, but I thought it was a much smaller group of people.
Yeah, I agree. It's a lot more people.
A lot more people were there. But granted, they did get like the, what is it? The European and the Chinese, not recruits, people. Wizards in from there to help out. But still.
Yeah.
And also there was a green bull.
Yeah.
I feel like I feel like
did we see that before?
I was trying to figure out. I'm like, you look significant.
Yes, why?
Who are you? And he survived twice.
Yes.
What a lad. I really appreciated all the wizards coming together because there are some roles, some movies just don't give you that feeling of you're as important as you think you are. Yeah. Like, for instance, we talked about it a lot in like the Boba Fett TV show. Like, Boba Fett's supposed to be like the daimyo, and he's got like 5 dudes in the whole palace. But in this, it's like, no, Wong is Sorcerer Supreme. All the wizards on the planet bowed to him.
Yeah.
And it felt like it.
It did.
Like, I'm here from here. You have whatever you want, we'll do. I'm here from there. And you just saw the place full of people. It's like, okay, yeah, I really get it.
It felt real. It felt like he was showing his position was showing off.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
And he was like, people bow to the Sorcerer Supreme. I thought,
rubbing it in Strange's face.
I even whispered this to you during the movie. I thought it was a death flag for Wong.
Oh.
Because I thought it would be something like Wong was going to sacrifice himself and Strange bows to him at the last second. Yeah. And then Wong sacrifices himself, saves the world or something like that.
Yeah, sooner or later he's going to have to die though.
Yeah.
Because Strange has to be Sorcerer Supreme.
Or go ahead.
I was gonna say they could just keep it ironic and just be like, he's the strongest, bestest, but will not ever get the title.
Yeah. And honestly, I'm kind of down with that because he is the best and the strongest, but he's also probably the most irresponsible person.
I was gonna say, yes, he's so irresponsible.
And we see that in every universe.
Every universe. I didn't know when to bring it up, but I was like, the Stranges are consistently the loners, the neutrals, the selfish. This is my goal. I want to do this. And every universe has this problem with him.
Yes.
Like, he never grows up different.
No.
Yeah. I mean, what use are the rules if the guy in charge breaks all the rules?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because even in the What If series, he turns into a giant monster because he's breaking the rules.
Yeah.
In the other universe, he breaks the rules to save the world from Thanos. In a different universe, he just straight up murks every other Strange.
Yeah, and this is where I wrote, I love Wong. Just the way, it's not even just Wong, it's the actor. The way that the actor is so emphatic, like when Wanda started blasting the fortress, he's like, "Fortify your minds!" Like, the way he said
I love that guy.
I love it. He's so intense.
He felt like one of those motivational speakers that they get on the hype. It's like, "Fortify your minds, guys."
We don't have magic for that. I loved it.
It was great.
Yeah, and it really gave me the feel of, at first I wanted Strange to be Sorcerer Supreme because I felt like he deserved it.
Yeah.
But then over time it's like, Wong's showing leadership abilities and he's showing like respect for the traditions, and it doesn't hurt the franchise if the guy doesn't have everything he wants immediately. He doesn't have to be the best surgeon. We started the movies with that, And he's also not at peace with himself, so which we can see later. We can get into.
Oh, and also, right when Wanda comes, I was starting to really feel her unhingedness when she came as Scarlet Witch, and she was like, "I'm being reasonable."
Yes. Oh, that scene was good. The actress was so good. Like, I could feel that emotion, and like you're saying, feeling unhinged. Like, she was ready to break.
Yeah.
I felt that.
Yeah.
Because everyone was like, "I understand what you're going through right now, but this is not okay, Wanda. Put the book down. Stop trying to kill everybody."
Yeah. And you know what? I guess we can get into it more later, but I'm wondering why. Because in that moment, Strange was telling her, your kids aren't real. But we know they are in other universes.
Yeah.
So, but I get the feeling it's not a lodestone. Because she focused on that one universe where why wouldn't she go to a universe where she died or something?
Yeah, but I think it could have just been budget, because they were like, it's in every other universe. That's what she said. She's like, every other universe.
She said that?
Yeah,
okay.
She said every other universe they are. But her universe.
Which makes me then wonder what are they all magical in all universes?
That's what I wondered too.
Yeah, because I was wondering that too. Because in the one that she was focusing on, Vision wasn't there.
No, that's the other thing. So I don't know.
That, or she kept going with Westview in that.
Yeah.
I was wondering. So it could either be that Westview what continued, but the other thing is they never like show them outside of the house. So it could have been that she just made a Westview just over her house,
Which would have solved
which
the problem.
solve everything. Like she
I mean, when
didn't
you
have
think
to,
about it.
because she can walk in and out of her little bubble, right? Does she have to be there? And does she ever have to leave? She's magic. She can make food, magically appear. You know, maybe the kids will question, Mom, why can't we ever leave our house? But I don't know. It just, to me, and also, why did her mind just go to, I need to go to another universe, instead of, why don't I make another world here out in the middle of nowhere where my people can, exist? Yeah. There were so many other options that she never went with.
Yeah.
I think part of that's the Darkhold. Like, maybe she had desperation after she lost them, and she didn't have the ability or the wherewithal to make it happen again, or maybe she didn't want to hurt people again.
Yeah, maybe she was afraid of that.
Yeah, and she picked up the Darkhold, and sooner or later, her mind started to drift towards those bad things, and it was too late.
It was too late. Mm-hmm.
She started to have intrusive thoughts.
Mm-hmm. But before we get to the runaway scene, is anything still in the fight?
I felt like there was something in the fight. I don't remember. Oh, that I didn't catch her name. The black chick. I immediately recognized that there was a relationship between her and Wong.
Aww.
And I was just like, I don't know why, but for some reason I ship you guys.
I don't remember her at all from anywhere else.
I don't think she was in any of the other movies.
Okay, I only picked up the relationship just before.
Right at the end.
She died, yeah.
Mm.
I didn't see, like, I saw there was something like she's important, just like, because they showed her and the animal guy around the same time, and I was like, oh, these both are important, but I didn't pick up anything until later. That's it.
Yeah, but that was it. And then Wanda does a massive beatdown.
Yeah, she slaughters everybody. That was awesome.
It was awesome.
Sorry.
But yeah, she just goes to town. She was, you know what I got the feeling of. It's like, you know how like you feel detached from like the people in GTA who you're just like mowing down?
Yeah.
I was just like, this must be what it feels like in first person.
Yeah.
The other scene from that whole fight scene before they take off is when, what's his name? Strange tricks her into a trap.
Into the mirror dimension.
The mirror dimension.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, and she figures out how to beat it real fast.
And use it.
And that's when the horror began, when she
Yeah.
got out of that. That was creepy. It was like, oh no, ew,
Yeah.
ew.
I think that's again one of the examples of like he uses the mirror dimension like mirrors to trap her in, but then she bends the rules.
Yeah.
And becomes every reflection.
Yes. And she basically broke herself coming out of that.
Yeah.
She came out and she was like reconstructing.
Yeah. And maybe that's because the gong wasn't that reflective, so she had to like
Oh,
shift through the shiny bits.
that's
I don't know.
a good point. Yeah.
Yeah.
That was terrifying.
That was also the scene with the first of. There were a few moments where there were classic horror moments in this in the later scenes, which I don't love. You know, when they're running away from something and they stop, the kind of idea, like where America, like they're covering all the puddles and she just stares at one of them.
That was so stupid.
And we have to cover all these puddles to stay safe. That's a really nice puddle, man.
Yeah, I don't want to get rid of that.
That's a baby puddle right there.
So stupid.
Yeah, and I just don't understand the reasoning behind that kind of thing.
No.
But
I wonder, like, do they need to create a moment? Like, do they need to create space in order to let the scene happen? Because it could be, they need to give a jump scare.
yeah,
And in order to give a jump scare, there has to be space, like a moment of peace where you feel you're okay, you're safe. But I didn't feel that, because I'm like, no, it's a puddle and she's appearing in all of them. You're not doing a good thing right now looking into it, America. So it wasn't a jump scare. It was like, duh. I feel like someone has to come up with another method, because they do this a lot, where they do this stupid move just to make a jump scare. There has to be a better way where they can create this jump scare without making the character look dumb.
yeah. And I
don't
feel
know.
like an easy one would have just been as she's going to throw the blanket over, she like reaches
Yeah.
out right before it covers.
Yeah, like she's about to drop it, and it's
And,
like
snatch at her face.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the transition. How did they leave the room?
Well, Wanda got a hold of her.
And then
screamed
she screamed
and
and it
snapped
made
up
them
into
whole.
reality.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then Strange got sucked in as well.
Yeah.
And then we got that awesome universe sequence where they went through multiple universes.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, what was
amazing.
that?
I liked it.
I loved it.
I was indifferent.
Really?
I always love those scenes because I've seen in other movies where the dimension travel. I always love it, especially when they do the goofy ones,
Turn to
Like,
That was great.
or even
Oh,
cartoon.
They turned into a comic. It looked like, what was it? Spider-Man into the Multiverse animation. Did you see that cartoonish one?
Less quality.
It was
but
less
yeah.
quality. It was, but it could have
Yeah.
been pointing to that.
Hmm.
It could have been. As a place where Strange has died, which we find out the story of, and we meet Mordor.
Mordo.
Mordo. Okay, I did write Mordo, but I was like, that can't be right.
But before Mordo, the pizza popper. I have something to say about this.
Oh.
That was unnecessarily brutal. And they show why they did it in the end. But Strange just leaving this guy to get beat himself. Like, we even learn later, the reason the Pizza Popper was upset with him is because Strange is a hero in this universe. And, like, this guy's, like, basically false flagging wearing
Yeah.
his uniform.
Yeah.
And it's like, even if you didn't know that, the guy is angry that you've stolen
Stole
a costume from the
food.
museum.
And still
And-
food.
Yeah.
Both.
Both.
So it's like, okay, this guy's got justified anger. You're new to this universe. Just walk away.
Yeah.
Or if he's like sizing you up, okay, just shove him back, make himself punch himself once or twice. But it's like, obviously it wasn't actually 3 weeks because we've seen him sitting at that same spot like later. But I still think it was brutal, unnecessarily brutal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, memory lane, we go and we see what's his name, Strange's background of
With
like, oh my gosh,
Christine.
I love Christine so much. It felt like they were kind of rubbing it in quite a bit. It's like, I kind of noticed this with superheroes. Once they care about someone or something, that becomes their whole past.
Yeah, like nothing else matters.
Nothing else matters.
I mean, we find out one other very interesting thing like later when we meet the evil Strange.
Yeah, that
And he's like, we never heard about this ever before. Now,
Mm-hmm.
like, why? That's kind of important. No,
I guess.
I mean,
I could-
it's kind of traumatizing.
Yeah, everybody's like moving swiftly on. Nobody wants
Yeah.
to talk about it, but then they talk about it a
Yeah.
little bit, and then Mordo,
Mordo. And he introduces us to the Illuminati.
Illuminati. When I heard that, I was like,
Oh no! I put a big LOL.
Yeah, it's a comic thing. Like in the main, I think it was the main universe. I might be wrong. There was an Illuminati which was made up of all those members, except I don't know if Captain Marvel was a part of it. But there was also Black Panther. He's a big part of it as well. But obviously he can't be there.
Oh, is that who that was supposed to be? Black
No,
Panther.
no.
Oh, okay.
That's Black Bolt.
That's
I don't know who that is.
yeah. Black Bolt is there's another race of people that were basically made to be another different type of mutant, like
Oh, I heard about the show Inhumans. The series.
extraordinarily horrible, It was a
Aw.
bad show.
Wow.
Oh,
And he's the king of them, and if he speaks, it lets off an sonic explosion kind of thing.
Oh, I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about the girl.
Yeah, that was Miss Marvel,
No.
Captain Marvel.
No, there's another person that looked like a Black Panther outfit, but I thought it was a girl with the thick eyebrows. She talked for the Bolt guy. Cause she's like, if he talks, you'll die.
Yeah,
basically.
that was
Miss Marvel.
It's a different Miss Marvel.
She is.
Wait, so okay. So I was mixing up Captain Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I thought you were talking about Captain Carter. So she's Miss Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
Captain Marvel.
In this universe, that is Captain Marvel's best friend in this world.
Oh,
So in this
that's
world, her
right.
best friend becomes Captain Marvel.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Because she also has super strength.
Yeah, she
Same
has the whole
powers.
shebang.
Oh.
Yeah. For a second there, I thought it was a dude.
Oh, really?
Sorry. It's just because the mask was up and I couldn't tell, so I thought it was a guy. And then it came out. I was like, oh yeah, it's her.
Yeah. And then we also Penny Carter is Peggy, not
Peggy.
Penny. Peggy is the captain in this world.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm.
Makes
So-
sense.
Yeah, it's like so. This world is so alternate.
It's
And like
alternate.
it's very alternate. And also we see not Captain. He's not another Captain. Charles Xavier.
Yes.
Professor.
Professor.
I was so excited. And Fantastic Four, Reed Richards.
Reed Richards. Yeah, you called it just before it happened. You're like, oh man, it would be so cool if Reed Richards was a part of this, and then he shows up for like, like quietly screaming at the theater.
I was so happy because it's just like this movie did. That's one another big reason why I'm so happy with the movie. Is not only did it put the character like Wanda where I thought she would end up, it actually did it. It actually brought in characters that were supposed to be a part of the Illuminati. And I just didn't expect they would actually do that. But,
well, this was a perfect opportunity, alternate universe, where these all exist. So I wonder how much went into this budget.
I mean,
technically they didn't have like the main actors to do them, so that probably saved them on the budget a little bit. But the characters are there; they gotta pay somebody.
I mean, they probably paid a pretty penny for Patrick Stewart. You know?
Yeah. He took all the budget.
He took all of the budget,
especially
that in his chair.
That chair! I was like, oh my gosh, that chair! They couldn't make
like
something more
giant
sleek.
yellow chair.
Seriously,
it looked like Herbie from the Herbie series.
It's like basically his brain in the chair. Like what the heck?
That was part of the contract. Like he made me a golden seat. Like
we can do yellow.
It's not a prop. It's a nice way.
Even in when they're talking about the history with their Strange, like he comes on the giant war torn field with his chair. I'm like, how did you get over the debris,
how
sir?
did you get here? When he was fighting with Mordo after. Well, first let's talk about Wanda popping in.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
That's that the horror began again.
Yeah, that was actual like horror movie because she walked in like covered in. You said it was motor oil later, which I assumed it was because there was no people to fight back there.
Oh, it was the robot's oil.
Yeah.
Okay.
And she walked in looking like Carrie.
Yeah.
Barefoot and everything.
Because she took the body of herself from this universe, who was just laying with her kids in the
Couldn't
house.
grab the shoes on the way out. No.
She's in a rush, and I think that was showing how like she was crazed because she's not even thinking of the boys that were laying in her arms. She just like got up and was just like, no, I'm going to do this. Shuts the door and she's off, like not thinking about anything else.
Yeah, and then she comes up against the Illuminati.
That whole scene was so sad. Like seeing them all one by one perish.
Yeah, when they were actually dying, I was like, oh my gosh, Marvel, you're doing it. Because like the first one where she's like, when he's like, he can kill you with one word from his mouth, and she's like, what mouth? Yes. I was like,
I heard you like gasp.
And then he spoke in his mouth and broke himself.
Yeah.
I was like,
yeah. She was audibly shocked.
Because it's like Black Bolt is incredibly overpowered in the comics. Like he owns like a planet.
The moon.
He owns the moon. He rules the moon.
Moon King.
He's the Moon King on the moon. And he is super powerful. So for her to just be like, what mouth? And kills him immediately.
Yeah.
I was like, oh no. I was like, none of the rest of you have a chance.
No. And also I think part of the problem of the Illuminati is they were not taking Strange seriously about her strength. Because they see their Wanda. They know their Wanda, and they know her personality, and they're like, well, she's not the threat, you're the threat. Yeah. We're scared of you, we're not letting you go. So they come out thinking they can talk her down. You're like, listen, this guy can kill you real easy, we don't want to do it. And they're like, she's not here to talk. And unfortunately, they didn't take her seriously.
Yeah. She's not here to talk, what mouth?
Okay.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird that she's able to deal with them so easily, and then the other two, I was wondering why... If she can do something like make your mouth disappear and then turn Strange into a spaghetti noodle,
and
what stopped her from doing that?
Why didn't she do that to the other ones? Yeah.
Yeah. What stopped her from doing that to them?
Yeah.
I could kind of get an excuse for Captain Marvel because maybe her magic. Did you say that? Like maybe she's outside of the realm of them.
She was saying
the magic is outside of regular realms.
Yeah. Sorry about that. But yeah,
but
Captain
maybe it's
Marvel.
the other way around.
It could be. But Captain Marvel, her powers, I thought maybe excluded her from some of those abilities. So I was just confused at what made you. They're dead, and then have to fight these two.
Yeah, I think it really just came down to the fact this thing that they to this day is like the action movies don't want to pit a guy and a girl against each other and make that the real fight.
They kill both the guys.
They killed all the guys first, and then they made the two girls fight her with a nice long fight.
They're not woman beaters.
They're not. Yeah, they don't want to do it.
I was so mad when they, I don't know why this woman beater reminded me of this, but I was so mad when they killed Reed right after he said, "I have kids."
Oh,
I was
yeah.
so upset.
I actually expected that to calm her down a bit. I thought that once she brought up the kids, it was like scaling her back. Like, no, she's going all in.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm surprised that Peggy lasted as long as she did.
Yeah.
It's always all the Captain Americans last way longer than they should in these situations.
Of course, it's Captain
And
America.
they somehow always come up out on top, except for this one. Not this one.
Not this one.
Not this
She
It was Wanda's
was-
day.
cut down to size, but
Bap. I loved it.
Yeah, it was great.
yeah. And Marvel going up against Scarlet Witch, she was a lot more powerful than I thought she was before.
Yeah, she's crazy strong.
Yeah. What was it that broke the balance of? I think it was just Wanda overpowered her, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were blasting each other and hers overpowered.
Yeah, they both flew back and they were
Yeah.
hurt, but Wanda was able to like pull the statue down before she got up.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, after she knocked her out of her powerful state, because that shouldn't have killed her. But she like you saw her things fade away.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had valid concerns about the Stranger. Just I felt like in that moment, why would you arrest the guy who's running from a big thing if you're scared of him? Like you're afraid of this guy, and he is running from something, asking for your help.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's probably something you should call everybody.
Yeah, it was
for.
kind of stupid of them. But we do see at least Xavier, well, being the mind reader he is, he's like, no, this guy's probably telling the truth.
I mean, honestly, they should have just jumped to that to begin with.
I don't know why they didn't just ask him.
It's like, hey, Xavier, Mr. Mind Reader, what are his intentions?
Yeah, so easy. But he obviously, being the mind reader, reads all their minds. Like, they're not going to listen to me even if I try to say anything. So even with Mordo there, he's like, listen, dude, you just try to win, okay? Just do your best. I'm getting out of here. I got to do a thing.
Yeah.
And Mordo's, what are you talking about? I'm not agreeing with this.
Yeah.
I just realized Mordo's the only surviving Illuminati member.
Oh no, that's right.
GG.
Nobody came after him.
They're all coming up Mordo.
It's all kind of weirdo. Technically, Strange saved him by putting him in the
He did.
hole.
Oh yes. Xavier tries to fight Wanda and end up in the White World, and he's trying to pull out the original
Real
Wanda.
Wanda.
Yeah.
And then it just gets real dark again.
Yeah.
And even darker as Wanda's chasing Strange, Christine, and America down the dark tunnel, dripping with water from the surface.
Barefooted. Just
Barefooted,
Like,
oh my
limping
gosh.
towards them. I'm just
The
like,
jump
oh my
scares, peering out of nowhere. They decide to stop
goodness. Yeah.
and stare at the door.
For some reason.
Yeah,
And they
that's
just, again,
I don't
They
like
were
you
building.
have a place to go. Like you're good.
Yeah.
You can keep going.
They were building for the jump scare.
Yeah, I just feel like if you're gonna do something like that, you don't need to do the build up. You could have just had that door's taking longer to open than usual.
Yeah.
That's been done in movies before.
Yeah.
Or as they're opening it, she's getting faster, and so she starts doing the creepy hyperspeed walk that horror movies.
Yes.
She was keeping up with them walking.
Yeah. I mean, they're full speed running. She's limping towards them.
Seriously.
And she's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then they get through the door, and eventually they find themselves to the Vishanti book.
And
Yeah.
they, just like good, dumb superheroes, leave the door open for her to follow them.
Yeah. And then they're like, oh, look at it's a nice book. And then they
Yeah.
get shot.
Now, she gets America. Does she get America at that point? No, she doesn't.
No.
America and Strange. No. What happens to America?
She was about to get America, and no, she makes America warp them back to their world, back to
Right.
the original world. She makes America open the portal first, which is the portal to a bunch of different universes. She throws Christina and Strange in there, and then she makes America open to her world, where the
Right.
Darkhold is.
Right. Oh, that's right. She throws America to where she is, and then she leaves. She gets out of the dream walk, and the original Wanda is like, and goes, boys. And she goes to find her boys.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I gotta say, Mordo was real nice to her to let her go back home.
Yeah.
Like, he held no grudges.
Yeah.
I mean, she didn't do anything.
No,
but
it
still.
was. I guess because they know it was a dream walk. It was a different Wanda, but I don't know.
Yeah, and also in that moment we had the destruction of the Book of Vishanti.
Yeah, that's.
that isn't that like, is there just one?
You just
Because
won.
it's between universes,
Yeah.
so it's just the one.
Yeah, and it just burns. Like.
No, there's more than one, because we also saw, I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure it was individual universes happening.
Oh,
because
that's
the
what you
Darkhold is also, because we saw multiple Darkholds get destroyed.
Yeah, that's
So-
true.
And it's supposed to be its antithesis.
Right.
Mhm.
Right. But also, why is the Darkhold information carved in stone and the Ashanti not?
It might be. We just don't know where
Why
it
is the Ashanti so hard? Vashanti so hard to get a hold of?
Yeah.
It's like
The
this
good
thing,
one. The
this
good
thing
one is
that
harder.
This book of pure good. That, you know, if anything you need, it's in there. Let's make this way harder to get than the Darkhold is.
Yeah.
It makes it just so hard.
Mm-hmm. I think it might be just the way the universe Stranges look at the issue. Like in one universe, this universe Strange put it somewhere. You know, it's his door to the Vishanti book. Which one of them? One of them actually kept the Darkhold for safekeeping. Mordo kept the Darkhold in his universe for safekeeping. You know, so maybe it's just each one of them thinks of it, doesn't think of it, treats it differently. But what I really like is the destruction of the book. I think was a symbol for the theme of the movie. Because the previous movie that caused all these issues was Strange made sacrifices and didn't look for another way, and it all came down to this singular item, like the time stone and stuff like that, you know. So the destruction of the book also symbolized a change in Strange, where Strange is no longer going to be relying on a singular cure-all that requires sacrifice, which is what the movie started with. The other Strange was doing the same thing, where he's going to kill America because that's the only way. Just like our Strange had allowed the blip to happen because it was the only way. He couldn't see another way to get through it.
But this time he's like, no, there's another way, and he let himself see the other option.
Yeah, and so Christine and Strange are in the other world, and they meet the other Strange in the incursioned world.
Yeah, a world that is in the midst of being destroyed. We were talking about earlier. The Strange talk about the one thing that only they know, that they never talk about, which is the death of their sister, Donna.
Yeah.
Pretty sad.
Which I think connects to Strange having... It connects to why he went to that wedding. Is he knows to just put his head down, work hard, and appear to be okay. And that's what he's been doing his whole life. He has more issues than just Christine.
Yeah.
Part of the reason he's so connected to Christine is kind of like what she said. He's the one that's being in control of the knife. He wants to be in control of everything because the things he can't control, he loses.
He loses, yeah.
So he just pretends like he's okay. So in future movies, we still can go back and deal with these kind of issues.
Yes.
Yeah.
And from this scene, we see this Strange is indeed evil, going to different universes and just killing other Stranges.
Yeah. That's a weird path to take. It's like, if I can't have Christine in any universe,
nobody
I can't.
I can't.
I can't just get rid of all of them. It's like, why? But speaking of which, no universe? Like, none of them? Really?
You mean no other universe has a Strange?
It has a Christine.
Oh, has a Christine.
No, Christine cannot have...
Oh, Strange can never have...
Strange can never be with Christine.
But we did... Oh, it was brought up in the what if. But I guess it's not the same because Christine does live in other universes. But in the what if she dies... And this one universe, he was trying to like stop it from happening, but it was like a lodestone.
Lodestone in the world because without her death, he wouldn't have gone and done the strange things to go back and save her.
Yeah,
right.
It's just in our universes, he gets injured, and that makes him become the Strange.
Right.
So, like, if he went back in time to stop him from his hands getting destroyed, it probably would again fallen on by a truck.
Right. But anyways, I said that to say, I forgot what I said that to say. Forget it.
It's a lodestone thing that no Strange can have a Christine, I guess.
Oh yeah, I think that's what I was coming around to. Yeah, he just can't have a Christine. Like no Strange can ever have a Christine. And the other strange thing, the other strange thing is. Like, we have all these different versions of Captain America, Black Panther, or Miss Marvels, and Strange is the same in every universe?
Strange is strange in every Strange.
Strange is, it's like Strange himself is a lodestone. It's so weird.
Strange is a lodestone. That would be cool.
Maybe that'll tie into something later.
I think they kind of, I've seen some people talk about it where it's supposed to be while the universes are infinite, there's just some people that are more randomized than others. And like, there's no hard set rule on like Peter Parker's like a girl in this universe. Like some characters they vary more often than others, and we just so happen to see the universes where Strange is the same, whereas there are others where he is.
He's not. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
They're just the ones they're seeing.
Yeah. So then we back to Evil Strange. We have musical battles.
Yes, I loved it and
hated
it.
I did not know how to feel about it.
I loved it and hated it.
I know I didn't enjoy it.
I really
didn't know how to feel about it. I don't know. It felt campy in the middle of all this horror stuff, and then suddenly we're having a musical battle. Like, I understand, like, it's cool because of the way Strange works with the sorcery. You're taking the regular stuff, like music notes off of the paper, fighting people with it. But at the same time, it's like, this feels cartoony.
Yeah.
It feels like the way Tom and Jerry would fight if you, like, drew them on a paper and then suddenly they're fighting on a paper.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So my feelings about it is probably similar. I didn't hate it though. I enjoyed it thoroughly just because I like music, and I started hearing like the different ways that the music that they were sending at each other, and then it got more complicated and more crazy, and then he did the little tiny note and his so I liked it, but at the same time it did make it. It took me out of it a little bit. Yeah. So it wasn't flowing. It was just like they really wanted to do a music fight scene. And that's how it felt. What about you?
I mean, I kind of got the feeling that, yes, it didn't have to happen like that, but at the same time, it kind of gave me the feeling of, you know what, if you see two people fighting, and then, I don't know, like somebody starts throwing their shoes. So the other guy starts throwing his shoes too, and suddenly they're in a shoes-only fight, and they're throwing shoes.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. Or you know, sure, it may be campy, but I'm thinking like an in-universe reason maybe music is also like a universal constant. So maybe fighting music with music was just more beneficial in the moment.
Yeah.
Maybe.
That's a good point.
But they probably just want to have a music fight.
Yeah,
but
I think so.
I really enjoyed it because I just like seeing the music come together and you can see the piece and the flow.
I mean, as a music fight, it was a fun fight, but in the middle of the movie, I'm just like, we are fighting for our lives against a woman trying to steal the life force out of a young child. Are we doing this now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then he just kills him brutally.
Yeah, that was so brutal. Speaking of brutal, like the next scene where he's like, I'm gonna use the dark ones. I'm like, what?
It's like, bruh.
Yeah. He didn't even yell out the window like, hey, Christine, sorry about that. Come upstairs. Just like...
No, she just has to make her way up there and find him. He's deciding to use the dark power. Because I guess that was his next only way.
Yeah.
To use the body in the universe. Because he had to dream walk, and the only other one that was living over there was a dead one.
Which I guess is even more taboo than using the dark power regularly.
Because even the demons are like, what are you doing, Strange?
What are you doing?
Can we take your soul?
Nope.
Yeah.
And then he uses them against them. I don't know.
He just uses them. Yeah.
He's like, this is my new cloak.
Yes, and flies. Speaking of, in the middle of all this, just to throw it in there, Wong looks like he died, and I was very sad, and then he wasn't dead.
I knew immediately he wasn't. I wrote Wong yeeted. Because he just got. I'm like, they didn't make a big enough deal out of that for him to actually die.
Okay, I thought, I didn't think of that. I thought he was dead. I just wrote, just killed Wong. And that's all I wrote. It was like, oh no. And I mean, very unceremoniously.
Exactly. It was too unceremonious. If we would have gotten like a slow motion thing of him like trying to, you know,
do his thing
where he grapples onto something, it doesn't work, and then he tries something else, it doesn't work, and then he like submits to his demise or something like this in slow motion. Of course, it has to be slow motion because he's falling.
Yes.
But that didn't happen, so I was like, oh, he's fine. He's fine.
But then he learned his lesson. I was like, no, I'm going to believe in you. We're not going to do the only option.
Yes.
We're going to take a chance at doing the right thing.
Yes.
You're right. I believe in myself.
And then she clenches fists and does smart thing.
Does just immediately all of the control that she has not had her whole life. I'm like, okay, this is a bit painful to watch.
Wow. Now I'm seeing why you give it a low A. But yeah, I kind of saw it as she's been spending her whole life running, and so has Strange. Strange has also been spending his whole life running from his fears, and he's now telling her, face your fears, and in a way maybe he will see that later for him. So for her, facing her fears was accepting the fight that she might not be able to win, but she has to try. It was a little strict because I was like, you do not win this fight. When I saw this start, it's like, please don't win this fight because Scarlet Witch should be so much more powerful, and she couldn't. So I appreciate that they acknowledge that she cannot beat her.
Yeah. I personally liked the way Scarlet lost. That she lost to herself, and to her dream. Her dream told her, you're a monster.
Yeah.
She's like, the kids were afraid of her, and it finally let her see herself. It's like, oh my gosh, the thing that I want doesn't want me because of what I've become.
Yeah.
So
I was like, when she was like, I wouldn't hurt you boys, I wouldn't hurt anybody. I was like, you liar.
yeah.
You killed everybody.
Like 100 people.
Yes. Yes, it was a very good moment, and for herself to comfort herself that they will be loved. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
It was good. I liked the end. I was crying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard a sniffling.
And we see her bring the whole building down
Upon
on herself. And Strange, the dead Strange that kicks him back to his own self.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of which, I think, was it at that point we see the demons trying to fight out? Or was it before?
It was before.
Oh, okay.
Strange is like, just fight the dark forces, Christine. It's fine.
Yes.
Yeah, what the hell?
Like,
yeah, she's like, protect my body. What?
It's like, from what? From all of the dark souls coming to kill me.
Yeah, you can do it.
How?
What if they went into her?
She just so happened to know that there was like a magic bucket,
right?
A candle nearby.
Yeah. To destroy them like crazy.
Irresponsible.
Like, he didn't even tell her, look over there, that thing, perfect weapon. You can do it. I believe in you.
Yeah. But yeah, it ends on a not perfect note, which is good. Like Scarlet, she commits suicide, destroys the area as well, which was responsible. So good on her, good on her for that.
And she destroys every Darkhold in every universe.
So how the hell?
Crazy.
Yeah.
Because she's Scarlet Witch, of course.
Yeah.
What about the other Scarlet Witches? Like, were they using it? Like, what the hell does that?
But that's the other question. She destroys the other Darkholds, but does she destroy the other Wonder Cores, which is the that big rock thing? I did write down that name.
That's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if the other universes Scarlet Witches really wanted to, they'd probably find it.
Yeah. Yeah. And America now is with the monks trying to master her power so she can find her parents, and that's pretty much the end of it.
Yeah.
Wong finally got his bow from Strange.
Yeah, I was so happy that he did that, and he's still alive. Oh my gosh, I was just like, oh, that feels good. Oh, I'm comforted now. Because I knew he was going to bow by the end of the movie. I was just like,
I didn't expect a bow. I didn't know it was important.
Because they mentioned it twice. If they had just mentioned it once, it was fine. But he mentioned it twice.
I didn't notice the mentionings at all. Like, even when they came from the other locations of the Earth, I didn't, and they bowed. I was like, oh, yeah, sure. They're just saying hi, right?
Yeah.
I didn't know it was because he was Supreme, Sorcerer Supreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but so him just using the Darkhold once made that eye thing pop upon him.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's like, really, once? Because Wanda was using it for weeks.
And she never got it. But it could just be something about Strange.
So that's Strange.
Yeah. I think we'll find out more about that next time, because we see in the after credits it just happens in the middle of the road, and then the next after credit he's like, oh, I'm cool with it. This is me now.
Yeah.
So
like, let's go find an incursion. Boop, boop. Okay.
So obviously everyone is cool with the fact that he used the Darkhold. It's amazing, like, Strange always gets forgiven. Wanda is right. Like, Wanda does one bad thing, she takes over everybody's realities, but Strange, does bad things that...
I mean, the thing with Strange is when he does the bad things, it affects mainly him.
Okay.
When Wanda does the bad things, it affects a lot more people.
But, no, I thought Strange... Well, this particular one only affected him, but his other actions has affected universes, or his universe, world. Like, his other decisions, like the specific one that Wanda was talking about from the end game, where he was like, we're just gonna give the time stone to Thanos.
Well, it was that, or every other decision would cause death.
I know, but I'm just I do see her point of view where she's like, he doesn't get the reprimand. It's you gotta see
I don't.
I'm not saying, like, I think that he can make this decision to use, like, all his rule breakings to become Strange. Like, remember his origin story.
Yeah.
All of his rule breaking becomes Strange. He still gets to keep his powers, his position, and Wanda runs away to hide in the forest. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but you have to remember, like, Strange, like, when he broke the rules, he got into a car crash because he was speeding. That's something he caused himself. Then with the Dormammu, I've come to bargain whole thing, that was caused by the exiles. He was like dealing with the repercussions, and the fight that ensues is him trying to stop the repercussions from hurting other people. Sure, he may hurt people in the process, but it's kind of like self-defense. And then with the Endgame thing, it was literally everybody, half the universe is going to die permanently, or I'll find a way to bring him back. So yes, he does do things that hurt people, but everything that has ever hurt somebody is because this person who started it was someone else. He didn't start it. Whereas Wanda, she started Westview. You know, she broke into the FBI building and found Vision's body. You know, she killed those people. And those people in Westview were tortured. You know, like, they were traumatized.
Yeah.
And she never, everything she did was self-serving, I feel like. Whereas everything he did was to serve everybody else.
Okay, you make a good point.
Don't get me wrong, they do both break the rules. It's just I feel like
it's
Wanda...
like to different results and extents.
Yeah, the result matters. But Wanda's results are almost always just everybody's in a worse
to everybody
place.
else's detriment.
Yeah.
But that after credits, what do you think they're going with this incursion? You think they're going to go Illuminati route?
Probably. Now that they've introduced it, I feel like they can't just throw it away after this. It's too precious.
Yeah.
Like,
I feel like I've seen that girl before, but I cannot remember from where.
What are you, Mortal Kombat? Sindel?
I don't know.
I find that funny though. It's like, strange, your actions have caused incursions. We're gonna fix them. It's like,
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. Puts on glasses, but instead puts on third eye.
Yeah. I want to see the Illuminati come around in this universe. I would have loved to see Black Panther be on that Illuminati. Of course, they decided they're not going to do that kind of thing. I still wish it would happen. I hope they change their mind, but they won't probably. And Professor X, I hope they introduce him as well as Fantastic Four.
I was wondering, are they gonna like tie in those universes more, or was this just like a one-off thing? Because for the X-Men to get introduced to into Marvel would be like, oh my gosh, we're totally gonna have that Civil War thing with everybody in the mutant identification thing.
Yeah.
That's totally gonna happen if that happens. And then people are gonna pick sides.
There's something I want to ask a question about. I saw a lot of comments that were saying, you know, for a movie titled Multiverse of Madness, it didn't seem like it brought in a lot of other multiverses. But I mean, I think it did enough.
I think so.
Yeah, it didn't bring in a whole lot of multiverses, but it brought in a lot of multiverse characters.
Yeah.
So like Black Bolt, alternate Miss Marvel, Captain Carter, brought in Charles Xavier. Those things were really that was really exciting.
Yeah.
But an couple alternate Stranges.
Yeah.
I think it was enough, personally.
Yeah.
I think if they did any more, well, they could have done a little more, but if they did too much, it would have been more confusing. And especially because this is mainstream, and the masses are easily confused.
Yeah.
So I think what they did was a good taste of the multiverse. But the title, you know, of Madness would make you feel like it would be more. But I think they kind of made up with that with them smashing through so many different multiverses. That was like their compromise.
Yeah, I guess it sounds more grand than Avengers level than it actually was.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Like we said, it came down back to the level of let's save this kid.
Yeah.
Instead of let's save the universe. So I think the next one they kind of introduce is going to be more for universe save.
And I will say, this is a common sentiment among the people I've spoken to personally, is that Doctor Strange is the most compelling person right now, along with Spider-Man, kind of, of the people that you want to see more of.
Yeah.
Like, the Avengers kind of petered out, where we kind of hit this weird wall where, you know, whenever a franchise has told a story of a character, the next set of characters that come in usually comes in way of the others dying off. Like, think about the Avengers. Who's gone? Like, we've lost Captain America, we lost Iron Man, we lost now Wanda.
Yeah.
Vision's MIA. Hulk's...
Well, Vision's kind of dead.
Vision's dead. Hulk's...
Different,
yeah.
Weird. You know, so all the Avengers are gone.
Yeah.
They need to do better. They need
not Wanda, the other one. The Black Widow's dead.
Yeah, they need to,
Black Widow's dead?
Black Widow. Oh, yeah, Black Widow's dead. She died with Hawkeye, remember?
To get the stone.
Oh, right.
Soul Stone.
I was like, but they just had that movie.
Yeah, I think they need to do better where I think they kind of did that where they kept Strange and they kept Spider-Man. They introduced Spider-Man in the big, like the climax moment, and then they're now carrying on Spider-Man. Maybe what they should do is start to introduce the others with these big ones, so that when they die off, we have these other ones that have been groomed.
Yeah.
You know, so that we're not getting this massive die off and massive try to build up again.
Yeah.
But yeah.
all in all, Scarlet Witch, tragic character.
Tragic.
So tragic. She could not catch a break.
Comics too. It's even worse.
Really?
Yeah.
No.
By the way, in the comics, wasn't she Magneto's daughter?
She is.
She is? Oh.
Her and Pietro. Twins. But yeah, so I think that's everything. This went on a bit longer than expected.
Yeah.
But thank you guys very much for watching, guys. If you liked your time here, please remember to like and subscribe if you like more. Let us know if you like these kind of movie reviews, these long form, or if you prefer like separate videos, just any ideas like that. And remember, leave comments on things that we've said. Give your own personal opinion on the movie. I do like to read those. I'll tell these guys if it's nothing too crazy. So thank you very much. I will see you in the city. Goodbye.
Bye.
Oh, bye.
Special thanks to Jesse Gallimore, FizzBuzz, Andy J. Powell, Tyrone, and Dirty Old Man.